So I think we can recite the opening verse. Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely is rarely than 100,000 kalpas. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
White. Speaker view, it says. Huh? This is speaker view. Yes, speaker view. Oh.
Good morning. So everybody can hear me? Okay. Recently, after morning zazen, actually a road worker who is coming up to Sonoma Mountain, a road worker from the county, they are bringing up crews now to actually clean the brush from the side of the road to make the road wider. So they're clearing. And after zazen, we finished reciting the verse of the Okesa, and then the road worker parked his car in front of our house, and then he got out, and then he got on our porch, and then he knocked on the door. And I was still in my robe, so I went out to, of course, there's social distancing, so I opened the door, and then he got off the porch. And so I was on the porch in front of this man in his work clothes, and he started to pour his heart out over how much grief and suffering he has over his a son. He doesn't know what to do about his son's situation. Every year, the son starts to get more and more isolated from him and his wife, and so he really doesn't know what to do. And they've done all the things that they could do, and trying many things to see people, and said, the worker said to me, I know this is very strange, but I know that you're a meditation center, and is there something that you can do? And I didn't think that there was anything to do or that I could do, but it's possibly that I could talk to his son and talk to his wife and him. So I went back into the house, and his crew arrived, And so they started to clear the brush on the side of the road, and they got their chainsaws out, and it was all, they're firing up their chainsaws, and I could hear the chainsaws going, and they brush and cut the brush away from the fence. At that time, then there was a vineyard worker that then came to the fence and started to tell the road worker, stop, stop, stop. And the road worker kept on cutting, and then it turned into an argument on each side of the fence. And they got so hot with each other that they wanted to fight each other. And one of them told me that they said it's lucky that the fence is there, because I would have taken that other guy out. And it kind of really hit me hard how we are so separated from each other and from ourselves within our everyday life. And the view of the human world in this way is quite sad to see. So it's an extremely rare practice that we have, and it's extremely important that we find a way to, you would say, bridge this gap, or take down the fence, to create harmony, and also to create peace and harmony throughout the world, and for all sentient beings. There's a story about Shakyamuni Buddha long ago, and the two neighboring countries in India, one was Magadha, and then one was Kapilavastu, and the Buddha was born in Kapilavastu, and then was enlightened in Magadha. And so there were two countries in which they were very close to each other, so they had a very intimate relationship through the noble families and nobility. And so the king of Magadha was actually a follower and a friend of Shakyamuni Buddha. And so the kings throughout many years, the kings had these relationships through their family. And Magadha asked the Shakya clan in Kapilavastu that, is there a princess or a woman that can marry my son? So the king of Magadha said, we need a princess to marry my son. So they had the wedding and everything, and the Shakya clan was happy, but the Shakya clan, or Kapilavastu, the people in Kapilavastu, didn't tell the king or the prince of Magadha that this woman was a commoner, so she wasn't part of nobility. And so time went on, and the prince of Magadha then became the king. And what happened over time is they found out about this liar, about the scandal. And the king, the prince, now the king of Magadha, he became completely just furious and outraged. And he didn't know why someone, how people could do that to him. So he just became so furious and outraged that he said he wants to then attack Kapilavastu. And so of course the people, or the Shakya clan that lived in Kapilavastu, they heard about that the Magadha was going to attack the Shakya clan. So the Shakya clan then asked a Shakyamuni Buddha, they said, please tell the king that, please tell him not to attack. And so of course the Buddha said, yeah, I'll try to convince the king as much as I can not to attack. So the Buddha tried in every which way to try to convince the king not to attack, but the king decided to attack and just was so furious that he attacked. So the people at Kapilavastu saw the army of Magadha and the king and the general in the front come up the dirt road of Kapilavastu, and the king and the general riding in front on their horses, and the Buddha could see that they were coming. So the Buddha sat down. The Buddha sat zazen under a dead tree in the hot sun, and the general and then the king of Magadha, they came up, and their army was in back of them. It was thousands of people that were gonna go into Kapilavastu. So the king was he was perplexed and also quite touched that the Buddha sat down and asked the Buddha, what are you doing, or why are you sitting under that dead tree? And usually somebody would sit down under a shaded tree, but the Buddha sat there upright in zazen. And then the Buddha said to the king, I feel a deep cool breeze even under this dead tree, and that my country is very close to my heart at this time. And so the king was just he didn't know what to think, but he was very touched in his heart to see what the Buddha did. And so he told his general, he told the general, the king of Magadha told the general, turn all the army around, and we're not gonna attack. We're not gonna attack. So they turned around, and then they went back. A time passed, and the general, the Magadha general, kept on telling the Magadha king, said that's just terrible what they did, and just kept on telling him. And the king just got more furious inside, more furious, and just angry, and felt he couldn't say anything to anybody. So finally the general convinced the king of Magadha to attack. And so they attacked again, and they went down the mountain. They went on the dirt road, and before the Buddha could do anything, the army went into Kapilavastu, and the Buddha just stood there, and he witnessed actually the whole country just be destroyed, and the Shaki clan was destroyed. Our human condition is extremely strong, and we see things from our own perspective. Human condition, we see things only from a very one-sided or lopsided view, or you would say we live in a dualistic world. We think, things are cold and hot, or bad and good, stupid and smart, long and short, delusion, enlightenment. So we always see things through this, but you would say deep peace resides in everything. That's before we even say anything. Deep peace is there. A deep peace is within the chainsaw. A deep peace is the mountains, the rivers, the moon, and the stars is deep peace. But we always fall short and go back to our conditioned way of seeing the world outside of ourselves, and we say, my opinion. I actually, a month ago, I remember talking to my son Ajo, and I said, you know what? I think my opinion is that your opinion is wrong. And this, these opposites create a suffering, and it creates this fence. And when you have peace, then on the other side of the fence, or on the opposite side, is no peace, or it's actually war. But then we try with our conditioned mind, we try to fix everything outside of ourselves and say, those are the people who did it, and we should fix them. I mean, even us Buddhist people, we say those people are bad. It's a lopsided view that we hold, and we say those people should do something about the bombs, or about the concentration camps, about the Holocaust, about the wars, about killing people. About weapons, about guns, about internment camps, about the killers who killed all the people in many countries and in many cities and everywhere. But we have created all this. We should take responsibility for all of this. I remember more than 20 years ago, I did a session at Auschwitz, and we would go into the barracks, and on the selection sites where the cars of the people, they went either way, and the families got separated. And during that time when I was sitting, I was saying I couldn't believe how someone could do that, you know? And I felt so much hate towards those other people that did that, that it really shocked me how much hate that I have within myself to even have that within, also within this retreat that I was doing at Auschwitz. And it just, the cycle goes on and on and on. But like I say, that we have created all of this, and we should take ownership of it. And that's to actually to return to to return to our life, but then work something within yourself that's deep. It's very deep to let go. So what the Buddha did uh, to sit down under the dead tree. The Buddha merged with a peace that's greater than just this a conditioned peace that we try to aim at. And of course we do try to aim at peace, but beyond peace is the way we merge. We merge with the world. So it's beyond. The Buddha sat down in zazen uh, beyond whether they were being attacked or not, but the Buddha just sat there. So this zazen posture is actually it's taking a stance. And it's not taking a stance, but maybe I'll just say it is taking a stance, but it is taking a stance to stamp like the deep peace within yourselves that is felt through a physical experience. So it's a stamping of this peace within our heart that goes beyond what we even can conceptually know. It's big. I want to read the part on so Dogen wrote, of course, in the Shobogenzo, he wrote the Makahanya Haramitsu, and this is the Maha Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. So he wrote when Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara practices the profound Prajna Paramita, the whole body reflects the five aggregates, reflects that the five aggregates are totally empty. The five aggregates are form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. There are five instances of prajna. Reflection is prajna itself. And when this principle is realized, it is said that form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And then form is form and emptiness is emptiness. So this sitting down and the whole body when we sit is very very interesting, because it's a mingling of all things, but like I said, it's a stamp that is deeply then in your body when you sit. So it's the zazen I'm speaking of is not, it's not learning a meditation, so it's not doing anything. So we're not trying to gain anything, or we're not trying to be stronger, or we're not trying to even find out what peace is, but we're actually doing something that is undoing, which is the doing then of the entire universe. So this seated seated posture in which the Buddha sat down is it's simply the Dharma gate of repose and bliss. And so this repose is it's a calmness, it's a whole bodiedness. So when uh, when we sit down in the zazen posture, and at the beginning, you know, all the parts of our body, we hold the hands a certain way, and we have our head, and you know, we do meditation instruction, and the back should be a certain way. All these parts of the body, then if we look at it, all these parts are actually connected. They're connected, but when we sit, as we sit through the scenery of our the thinking and no thinking, then these the mind settles on its own, and then all the parts of the body become one. So this is it's to hit sit is to realize actually whole body. This whole body is taking down the fence, taking down all opposites, and the merging then of the dualities of everything. Then they start to intermingle. So within this, you would say, see, like when you go camping, when you see the mountain, there's something's happening within yourself. When you see that mountain, you know, the mountain is beautiful, and you or we only recognize that beauty because the mountain is there, and also the mountain is also seeing you. So it's the working of the universe, you know. So your love for the mountain far away is your love for yourself that is deep and close to yourself. So it's a mountain seeing you, or you seeing the mountain, you seeing yourself, the mountain seeing itself, or the seeing of the seeing it seeing. You know, it's these are that's the true peace that lies within all things. But we condition ourselves to always take a stance of the opposite, but it doesn't include the mind of the universe, which is so vast that we cannot even conceive. So we always try to hold on tight to everything, you know, that we do in our everyday lives. There's a part of the Fukan Zazengi in which Dogen wrote in the Fukan Zazengi. It's his instructions of how to do zazen, externally, physically, and also internally. But there's a part. So zazen is to cast aside all involvements and cease all affairs. Do not think good, do not think bad, do not administer pros and cons, and cease all the movements of the conscious mind, the gauging of all thoughts and views, and have no designs on becoming a Buddha. So it's relaxing, or it's having it's yeah, it's letting go. You know, it's letting go and not reacting. You know, but trusting this whole body, and also this spaciousness, which lets things also, all the opposites then intermingle. Um, so the greed, anger, and ignorance, or this fence that we create, it yeah, it creates an isolation. You know, it creates an anger. It creates an a wall of not being heard, but we're that's ourselves. You know, we're not speaking to ourselves. um no matter how hard we aim for this peace, um whether it be cultivating peace, or then aiming through this peace, no matter how much we emphasize it, there'll be many or others that will not accept our peace. So what do you do? Um, we within this posture that we take, uh, we I don't we oppose, or we work with the greed, anger, and ignorance, which is we oppose that, or we work with that, but we don't oppose or hurt the other people that are being suppressed by this, you would say, evil. I don't want to say evil, but it's created by us. It's created by me. Um, so again, peace is found within ourselves. You know, so the more we sit, or the more we return uh, to our life, where we can feel ourselves there, then we realize this ignorance, greed, anger, and ignorance, this hate that we have in us, or this division that we have in us. We realize this ignorance by just sitting there, and uh, we 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 taste it. You know, we taste this suffering. We taste the suffering through sitting down, and we digest it. You know, we chew it, and then we digest it within ourselves, and then we cannot help but then from this greed, anger, and ignorance, then we share something that's greater. You know, the peace that we have constructed in here, but then it comes from our heart. You know, so that's big. You know, it comes from our heart, but the heart is the heart of, it's the working of the universe. um so it's the peace of the blowing of the trees out there on the mountain. The peace is also the hate that happens, and it's the peace everywhere. It's the moon, stars, and the sun. So that's this the aim is it's great, and it already exists. um, yeah, so it's So we continue, we continue through this practice to cultivate, to sit, to sit under the dead tree. And we continue to cultivate that. And there's not much to say. So I think that's what I have to say today. If anybody would like to make any comments, maybe now's the time, or say something, or not also is fine. Does anyone want to say anything? But of course, this is just, it's been on my heart and it's been on my mind, all of this, and I'm sure for many people it has too. But maybe, maybe seeing the worker and the vineyard worker, it just sparked something within myself that I wanted to share. So anyways.
Nyoze, this is Alexander.
Oh, hi.
About the, thank you for your talk. It was very moving for me. At the beginning, you spoke about the boy separating himself. How do we create an environment to take down the fence in our homes?
Well, like, you mean your living home, or?
Yeah. Because now I think it's incredibly difficult to do that and to put up a fence in the house, in the environment in which we're in this virus. But as those fences become more and more clear.
So how do you take?
For people who are looking for meditation and such?
Yeah.
How
do you take down the fence?
Yeah.
Within your own home. Can you explain that a little more?
Whenever the boy wanted to separate himself from his own family, I'd call that offense in a way, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know in many situations, or what people go through is also their own journey, at the same time. However, there's endless realities upon realities in which, to take down that fence, that's a journey in which everyone has to discover actually on their own. Right. And it's not for me to say. Also, when we say something about something else, that's creating more. It's creating more.
Yeah.
But for us, as humanity, or as human beings, we should always be open to receive, and also to listen, to accept. So it is in that way taking down the fence within yourself will create an openness that can happen also for others to grow together in harmony, you know.
Absolutely.
But boy, it's a deep condition, but then that's when we have to know it and then cultivate it within ourselves, you know. So but once we talk about it, then it becomes something other, and there's no we try to solve something, then we're trying to solve, yeah, let's take down the fence. Let's take it down. But that's not it either, to take it down. It's farther than that. It's beyond, it includes the fence. Yeah. So when we take it down, then some people say we should build a fence. So
Thank you.
so I guess let's recite then the closing verse together. May the merit of this penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we, with all sentient beings, together realize the Buddha way. Bye. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye. Good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you later.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
That's it.